If you wanna see the sensual harmony or a sexual fantasy, we all deserve to explore our body in a place like Perth. Sensual massage after hours.
Hey, I'm Chase, a Perth-based male bodyworker for women and couples of all ages, shapes, sizes and limitations, specialising in sensual and kind of massage. And I am here today with no name. We couldn't think of a fun name to start with because obviously discretion is really important for us and this kind of work with people that, want that kind of discretion. Some people don't, a lot of people do. But yeah, tell us about you.
I'm 24. Been living in Perth my whole life. I identify as genderqueer and use he, they pronouns. I'm just an average young person living in WA, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's good. And so you were assigned female at birth and exploring, different kinds of things. And that's, I think, what a lot of this has been about, is that sort of self-exploration in yourself, right?
Yeah, definitely. Just as you get older, you want to explore all different parts of yourself, whether that's your mental health, physical health, and your sexual health. I think is a very big part for most people in wanting to explore that and to do so in a safe, nice environment.
Yeah. And so you originally met Eve and Axel through, I think I shared one of their posts because they are a Melbourne-based couple that see clients, and you're over there. Tell us a little bit about that and that sort of exploration.
So I was already following you on socials, and you happened to share one of their profile photos or something. And because I was thinking about booking you, but then because I knew I was going to be in Melbourne, within like the next month or so. And because I saw you posted them, I clicked on their profile and, had a read of what they do. And I thought that would be a great first, step, especially because I like both men and women, and everyone in between. So, I thought that would be a great, first experience. And also being in Melbourne, away from home, away from, all the barriers and limitations, I suppose, like, feeling free to, explore that. And so I then reached out to them and, booked it was a threesome experience, but it was more, massage based. So that way I could both get the massage and explore at my own pace in, touching them as well. Yeah,
because like they're a couple that just give off this great energy and this great vibe, and we've had little bits of chats here and there. We follow each other and share each other's stuff, and we'll meet up in the future when I'm over there again one day, I'm sure. So that's why, I'm always happy to recommend who I think are good sex workers in this industry. It can be difficult to find some place to explore and trust in that sort of safe environment. So then that led you to build the confidence to see me when you were back in Perth.
Yeah, so they actually then, after the experience said, you definitely should, see Chase if you're, wanting to do that. And that's when I, took the time and built up that confidence to be able to be like, I'll book in to see Chase. And, cause you guys both follow each other and also that, they recommended you, I thought, well then that I think would be a good, next step in, my journey of self-discovery, I suppose.
Yeah. And, were you nervous coming in here the first time? Because obviously you had that first experience. Do you think that helped the nerves a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I was still quite nervous because obviously it's a different dynamic and situation. But yeah, I think it did help calm the nerves a little bit, and also having that other experience sort of gave me the confidence in both being able to know where my limitations and what I wanted to explore as well, which I think really helped. Because if you're booking your first experience, you might not be so sure with what you want to explore. And yeah, I thought that was it was a very good way to sort of into my journey.
Yeah. And how was that atmosphere? You know, I don't know what their sort of setup was like. You know, having a massage room dedicated to that experience. Do you feel the atmosphere in here helped your mind sort of relax into that experience as well?
Yes, definitely. Your setup here is really, really nice because it's a dedicated space.
Yeah.
And the way you light everything and the music and everything, I think, is really, really lovely and gets you into that nice, relaxed state, especially when you're nervous and an anxious person like me. Having that nice, relaxing feeling of both like the lighting and like the candles and the nice, relaxing music really, really helps settle me in and like, okay, I'm safe. This is all good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. And did it help you like feel your body more?
Yes, it did. Like I feel like with the dimmer lighting and like the way you have like sort of like the candle type light instead of like the bright, you know,
not like this,
not the fluorescent lights you have now, but like that sort of lighting helps you sort of just let go of like your own preconceived notions of like your body and everything. It just allows you to be able to, I suppose, get yourself into that headspace, and allows you to feel your body more and allow you to sort of be able to feel everything that's happening.
Yeah. And I guess with that sort of like feeling and the genderqueer they them pronouns, masculinity is a kind of topic that a lot of people have talked about. We went through the femininity revolution, which needed to happen. And now there's a lot of like toxic masculinity said, which, there's positive masculinity, there's toxic masculinity, same as there's toxic and positive femininity. And like, that them, do you feel like there's pressure on that, or negativity towards masculinity?
Yeah, I feel it more online, just trying to find where I sit and everything in terms of both my expression of masculinity and also just masculinity within myself. And seeing because in the queer space online, especially, there's a lot of pushback on trans men at the moment. And there's been lots of viral videos and stuff, talking about that. And yeah, just trying to figure it all out on yourself. Cause obviously you've got you don't want to be like that, but there's not a whole lot of, masculine role models.
True.
In terms of who you want to model your masculinity after. So trying to figure that out while also figuring out where you fit into all that is kind of a mind boggle, I guess.
And being still so young, like 24, figuring all that stuff out. And we're about to have our third session, isn't it?
Yeah, third, yeah.
Third session. And, obviously we have this a little bit of a sense of comfortability around each other now, which I think's making the, experiences even better.
Yeah.
I'm able to read your body better. You're able to communicate more about that. And I think when it comes to feminine and masculinity, I have to have a sense of femininity in myself as well. And I think there's a lot of social shame with men that express forms of feminine sides of themselves. And that can be just empathy or actually caring about people or, just so much negative masculine energy out there. And so I totally know what you mean. And I'm not afraid to show a feminine side if needed, because I think that that's true masculinity is someone that can switch a little bit between both when it's needed and when it's coming from a place of actual care and responsibility. And, I think that's really important. And what do you feel about that? Because obviously being born a woman and, having this journey on yourself, do you think it's really important that men or, people that are they, them identifying need to be able to not be overly masculine and still be able to show signs of femininity? And that doesn't take away from their queerness. That doesn't take away from their identification. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like there's that duality in everyone. Sometimes, you might skew more masculine, sometimes you might skew more feminine. But to be able to both show that sides, both sides, all aspects of yourself, to especially those that you're connecting with, whether that be through dating or experiences like this, I think is very, very important. Just being able to show empathy, vulnerability, just caring about people is very, very important, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings just trying to survive, figure out our space in this world, figuring things out, whether that's, what we want to do, who we want to be,
and it can
what our
change.
purpose is. And it can change. And I think that's a very good and important part of being human.
Yeah, and it can change. You could become alpha masculine in the future and then come back a little more feminine, and it can change. And really, whatever, it's not about trying to prove a point to anyone else.
Yeah.
Or to yourself. It's just being who you authentically are.
Yeah.
And, I really appreciate people that are willing to not give a fuck what anyone else thinks. And I try, a lot of people told me don't swear on this podcast, but that's how much I feel about it. I feel so many people do so many things to fit into society's expectations. They're not willing to be vulnerable. They're not willing to be who they authentically are. And that's something I really appreciate about you. You're being authentically who you are. You don't care what other people think. You don't care about the stigma or the judgment. You're going to live your life and you're going to be who you are. And that's a real strength, to be able to put up with the fight of everyone that's trying to get you to conform with society's expectations, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever that turns out in the future, just being able to be authentic to who you are and how you feel, I think that's just amazing. And, identifying as they, them, but if you have an experience that feels feminine, not being afraid of that, if that's what you feel like, if that what feels good to you at that time.
Yeah.
You've lived both worlds. What do you see is negative with femininity? Tough question.
Tough question. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I feel like there's also, obviously expectations on, expression and, on how, you're perceived, and wanting to be perceived feminine, I think sometimes can be a negativity in some ways. Like some people, like with masculinity, you've got the polar opposite with like you're conforming so much and you're trying to be this alpha male. I think there's sort of that in opposite aspects to femininity. Like you're trying so hard to fit in and you're not allowing yourself to, be stronger or, have that confidence. And, sometimes like you feel like you've got to, make yourself smaller in order to be heard and felt.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a shame. The smaller part, you know. I've met some really strong women and, really much bigger women, and they can still delve into their feminine side. And I think that having that balance of no matter what size you are as a woman, you've still got to be able to delve into that feminine or masculine side. And that really comes from like consciousness in yourself and how you perceive yourself. So it's a real shame that women feel that way. But I guess flipping the question on the head, the masculine side, is there any toxic masculine things that you want to stay away from?
I want to stay away from I want to always have empathy. I want to always care about people. And I always want to be vulnerable and be able to be vulnerable. I think those are the three key things that I want to make sure that I always have, no matter how I identify or where I am. I think those are the three key things that I want to try and keep. Because I feel like those three key things are very core to me and what I value.
I don't see any toxicity anywhere. It's good. And I think that asks the question of, what do you think of other genderqueer, non-conforming, they, them, he, she, is there any info that you want to give to them that you've learned through this growth on yourself as a person?
Just being able to be alright with not knowing, first and foremost. Also being open to being fluid. So just see where everything takes you. Don't try and force yourself to be more masculine or be more feminine. Just take your time. There's no rush. You'll figure things out when you're meant to. And also just make sure you've got someone to talk to, whether that's therapist, friend, a trusted adult if you're younger. Just always have that support system in place, I think, is really key.
Yeah, and like good role models online, if it's online, if you can't talk to anyone in person.
Yeah.
Good, positive role models. And I'm assuming you know a few other people that are, genderqueer or in that sort of thing. There was something I heard on the Dan Savage podcast. I'm a Magnum subscriber. It's an amazing podcast. It's been writing about love, sex, and relationship for 30 years. He is a American-based gay man that lives with his husband and his poly boyfriend. And anyway, he has a really out there life. And they talk about absolutely everything on their podcast. It's really great. And they talk a lot about trans, and they'll talk a lot about different kinds of things. And one of the things they mentioned that there was some trans men that were going hypersexual because they felt that that's the masculine thing to do, because men are freaking promiscuous as fuck. Like, the average gay guy sleeps with like 1,000 men in their life. It's incredible. That's how promiscuous not gay men are, but just men in general, if given the options. Obviously, reckless, dangerous sex is not a good thing. And that does happen in the gay community when men have lines of men waiting for them. Do you feel any like stigma around like feeling like you have to be promiscuous to be more masculine or manly, or is there anything you reckon? I know it's a touchy subject, obviously. Do you feel any pressure from men in that aspect?
Yes and no, because I feel like ever since coming out, especially dating in the online world, I feel like I've got a lot more matches with guys. But yeah, like I feel like, there's definitely that pressure to, have sex or be sexual, in any capacity, like on like the first date or even straight up just messaging as well. It's just right out of the gate. There is sort of that pressure to, explore sexually like straight away, in that space and being more masculine. But I feel like just how I am, that's just not me. But yeah, I definitely think that there's still a lot of stigma, surrounding that. But yeah, the main thing is keeping safe and having protective sex. As long as everyone's consenting, protected, making sure they get tested, all those things. I think that's the key thing.
Because obviously a lot of gay men in the community don't use condoms, and that's something, you know, them being on PrEP and being okay with taking the risks. I know you're not like that. You know, we've gotten to know each other a bit and had some discussions, and we're still exploring that journey. It's such a fascinating journey. You know, I hear from my gay friends and the Dan Savage podcast. Incredible. I guess moving on from that topic, the bondassage.
Yeah.
So we've been slowly exploring bondassage, which is basically a mixture of kink and massage, and a lot of it really starts off very sensual. It doesn't start off strapped to the bed, float her out. It's not, but it has been a slight progression.
Yeah.
What is your feeling? Because the last time we took it a little bit further.
Yeah.
With the verbal aspect, the spanking, stuff like that. How did you feel going through that journey with a man for you? Because you've only really had the experience with Eve and Axel, but how did you feel about that and the last time?
I think the last time was really, really great because we tried it very, very slow in the beginning, to build that up, like both with the trust and feeling safe in this space, and to be able to explore that in this sort of setting, I think is really good because knowing that I can slowly take it at my own pace, and that will slowly introduce things, and that it's not like full on balls to the full type of like.
We haven't seen the rest of today yet, but joking.
But yeah, it's like being that slow, like, and building up to that verbal, I think was really good for me because I've been wanting to explore that sort of side of myself. And just having that first experience, just the light spanking, the light sort of handcuffs and the bondage, that sort of allowed me to feel what it's like and think, okay, I'm good with that. I want to explore more and see how it feels further down the line, and building that up. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of young people, you know, have their first sexual experiences when they're a teenager.
Yeah.
They don't know much about consent. They don't know much about pleasure, unfortunately. I think hopefully things are getting better. I don't know what they're teaching them in school nowadays, but I did see that a university recently is doing like a sex week or something. I forget the university in Perth at the moment, and they were doing like days on education and consent. So it looks like it's getting a little better. But, you know, I've always said that I'm not trying to advocate for people to book this for this first experience all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I think people should get out in the world and they should explore with people. But it really comes down to them as an individual. And I do believe that booking a sex worker for their first experience or first experiences, me or someone else, or a guy booking a woman or a woman booking, anyway, because it really does give you that sense of control.
Yeah.
With someone that can read the body better, someone that does understand more about consent, even if they are a few years older. I think that having your first experiences is what sets you for the future.
Yeah.
And if you were 16 and you had an experience and it was negative and he was also 16 and didn't know, like, I look back at when I was 16 and I was like, what am I doing? Like, you know, because we don't have that experience. And if you feel that having a sexual experience that could possibly be negative could affect your future on how you feel about people, probably book someone for the first experience, because you really want to have that first experience to be successful, you know, because it will set you up better for the future. I think that's what you're exploring, you know, you're feeling more comfortable, more confident for people in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're booking experience like this, even if it's just the sensual massage, like not the erotic one, just something as simple as that, and being attuned to your body and what your body likes. Cause like if you're, cause it could just be some like obviously if you're meeting some random person, you might have that trust straight away, but most of the times you don't. So booking experience like that, you know that they've done the training, they've done their research, they've done everything to, they've got that experience in knowing, people's bodies and how they react. And also knowing that you might say no to things now, but also that you're allowed to say no, that you're allowed to, stop at any point. Because I think even in the dating world, there's that pressure to, especially being assigned female at birth, and most of my experience have been with assigned male at birth, to please them and keep going, even when things aren't exactly that comfortable. You might want to keep going, but your body might also be telling you should probably slow down. And that comes with knowing your body and having these experiences, and knowing what you like and desire and all those sorts of things.
And I think, like, obviously you can say no to anyone,
Yes.
even when they're not a sex worker, but it doesn't mean they're going to not coerce more, push for more, you know, because they don't realise that a maybe is still a no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was something I seen in a billboard at a festival once by the toilets. And I thought that was really fascinating and good that they're spreading that information that a maybe is a no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A maybe. And you say that to a sex worker, oh, maybe. They're going to look at that as a no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to look at that as a no. And I think that's really important. Obviously, not every sex worker is going to be ethical. Not every sex worker is going to be educated. But, you know, that's up to you to do your screw diligence. But, I think it's a great first way to explore whether you're like a widow and your partner's passed away 10 years ago, or you're looking to get out there and explore for the first time. I think it's definitely a great place to look at as a form of sexual surrogacy.
Yeah.
For the anxious person.
Yeah.
Or for the person that wants that and can afford that sort of thing. I think that's about it. Is there any questions you had for me at all?
No, there's not.
I know you didn't really have much on. Maybe something popped up. But no, I think you're wonderful, and it's been an absolute privilege and honor to be a part of this journey for you. And I really, really appreciate you coming out today and having this chat, because, you know, it's important that people hear the story, especially in the queer community as well. The education out there, any info out there is always great info. So I really appreciate that. And otherwise, I think that's a wrap.
Of course, thanks for having me, Jason.
And like and share to continue watching and see the other kinds of interesting interviews we have in the future. But till the next video, I'm Chase. Ciao.
Perth, sensual massage, after hours podcast.